For my final reflection video, I'm going to talk about some feelings that I had during the experiences, then what I learned about myself, and how it's going to affect me in the future as an educator and an MSU student. So to start, during my first interaction, it was really enlightening to learn about the Chinese education system and our education system. There was many differences, but what was even cooler is that there is a lot of similarities. For example, we both started around the same time, like 7:30, and we both have this crazy, huge test that really determines our future and what college we go to and or university. And it was kind of cool that we shared this big pressure experience. And also after my first interaction, I felt so happy because it was a success. It was a success, and I got to share a big activity of American culture like bowling with Simon, and he liked it, so that's cool. During my second interaction, it was cool to find the connection that we both have arcades in our countries, even though they are different. It was cool to share that similarity. And then during the end of my interaction, we both talked about how there are like symbols and things that represent my country and his country. So, for example, like apple pie, Statue of Liberty, like hot dogs and stuff that represent the United States. And Simon pointed out that that's what he thinks of when he thinks of America. And I thought that was really cool because I think that too, and I think our culture is representative in society and everything. Whereas he said that he thinks that his culture isn't represented in China anymore, and I got really sad, and I was kind of thankful that I have the feelings that I feel, or the feelings that I have for my country. And then some things that I thought differently based or from this interaction experience is I always thought that the Chinese education system was so awesome because every student was so successful and smart, and China is one of the most successful countries. However, I do not think that our education system should become as strict as the Chinese education system because that's a lot of pressure, and they sometimes do homework from when they wake up to when they go to bed, and I think that's way too much for students and people to handle. So I think that maybe the United States education system just gets a little bit more structured or something like that, but not a full-on change. And then some things that I learned about myself. So based on how hard Simon worked in high school, I realized that I did not work nearly as hard as him as a high school student. So that's a negative, but positive, I figured out that I love learning about new cultures, and I found out that culture is a huge thing that I need to appreciate and think about more often. So since I saw Simon working so hard, that really made me think about that I'm here at Michigan State and I have this great opportunity, and I really need to embrace it and work as hard as I can. So he inspired me to become like an even better student here at MSU. And then also, since MSU is a huge place, and we have so many students, there's so much diversity, and I really learned that I need to embrace it and really think about all the different cultures and just try and get to know different cultures because I absolutely love cultures, and I think it's really, really important for people to feel respected and understood. So that leads me into this experience influencing me as a future educator. So I really think that it's really important for me to understand my students, their cultures fully, and so then they can feel respected and, comfortable, like embracing their own culture and talking about their own culture. So I think that's really big for me. And then also I learned that I do not want to put a lot of pressure on my students, like the Chinese education system. And I really want to focus on creativity because that's really good for brain development and just mental health in general. So, yeah, overall it was a great experience for me, and it has affected how I view the world. So it was really cool.